welcome to the Nasboys podcast. I'm your host, Mike, aka Mike Fob Fan 101, finally here, and with my good friend and co-host Christian, aka Savage NASCAR.
Hello, everyone.
So let's get down to talking about some NASCAR. We had this weekend's races at Watkins Glen, second to last race of the regular season. Very crazy to think that we're already going into the regular season finale. Let's kick things off with the Xfinity race.
Things in summer has flown by so fast, and it's crazy that we only have one race left in the regular season as we're getting into the playoffs for the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series. And it's crazy how fast time flies. But anyways, the Xfinity race on Saturday was pretty solid. I wasn't having high expectations for the race, but the end was pretty crazy. There was some wrecks. I did predict that it would be a wreck fest, which it wasn't. But it definitely came down to the wire there, and I picked AJ to win, and he was really solid. We saw Junior Motorsports being solid as usual with Noah Gragson and Kyle Larson driving for them this weekend, and we saw the incident between Ty Gibbs there and William Byron, if I'm correct. If y'all haven't seen that, here's the video.
The 17 goes up the racetrack. He goes, and the 54 has to go very high now.
Almost all the top 10 is off the course. They're 3 wide for third as everybody's jostling for real estate. Ty Gibbs is slipping in the corner. Byron goes wide to accommodate. They lean on each other in turn 4. Side by side for the lead. Larson thinks for a moment, 3 wide up the backstretch.
Larson's going to push this 17 of Byron down into the braking zone. Here comes Ty Gibbs, side by side. There's going to be contact. Both cars go spinning. Both cars are spinning out of the lead.
It just looked like a racing deal to me. It wasn't on purpose. It was accidental. Ty Gibbs getting into the side of him, and they spun around while battling up front. But Kyle Larson gets the win in the Xfinity race. AJ got second. And how about Sammy Smith in only his 4th Xfinity start, finishing 3rd in this race? Isn't that impressive? And Kaz Grala finally getting the top 5. So congrats to him.
Yeah, I didn't watch the race. I haven't been paying too much attention to the races because I've been busy. But don't worry, I will be back with regular insight within the next couple weeks. But yeah, Ty Gibbs and the William Byron thing, that was just a racing thing. NASCAR media, go figure, just trying to over dramatize it to try to get more engagement for social media posts. But yeah, it seemed like they were fine at the end. Byron went up to go talk to Gibbs. They just talked it out a little bit. Just didn't seem like anything too out of the ordinary at road courses. Sammy Smith, though, I know he is, I think, like an ARCA driver. Heard the name before. I know he's pretty good at that series. So good to see him getting a top 3 finish. And he could get the car if Gibbs leaves. Who knows? I don't know. There could be other drivers as well. So now let's take a look at what you guys had to say. 40% of you said great, 60% of you said good, and none of you said the other options. No thoughts here. Thoughts on the spin with Byron. It was 50-50. Henry 24257 says neither, just hard racing. See, that was a trick question. That was to get somebody to say hard racing. Good job, Henry. Driver of the day, nobody. Let's see. I know Larson won. I would have to give it to either Larson or Byron. They just seemed like they were up in the front for the most part from the notes I was hearing.
Yeah, I would have to say the same. They led a lot of laps, and if not them, then probably Sammy Smith.
All right. So now let's talk about the Cup race. What did you think of it?
Man, that was probably the best Cup race I've seen Watkins Glen in at least 3 or 4 years. Going into it, I knew it was going to be kind of wild because there's just a lot going on. You had all the international drivers coming in to race, which was really cool to see, like Kimi Räikkönen and Jurhans. I don't remember everyone's name off the top of my head, but there was many of them. And it was raining at the very beginning. The way it was raining and lightning early on in the afternoon, I was thinking, man, they're going to probably end up postponing this race to Monday. But thankfully they got it in, and the rain at the beginning was pretty tricky. But as time went along, it dried the track. The track dried out, and we saw some exciting racing, and it was very exciting. We saw a lot of early battles for the lead in stage one. We saw Ty Reddick up there. We saw Michael McDowell leading laps. Chase Briscoe, as you can see, of the Chase Briscoe flag. Um, it was really, really exciting, and there was some close calls at some points. Austin Cindric had a spin. I know, or an incident. I know Ty Reddick spun out twice, and he came back to finish 7th. So the stage one was really good. Stage two, we saw Kyle Busch, who had started in the rear, work his way up to the front. Joey Logano, your boy Joey, he was up there leading at some points as well, which kind of took me by surprise because he started 20th and he didn't seem like a factor in stage one, but in stage two, he really stepped it up and he was a contender. And then I thought it was really, really exciting. But going into stage three, I knew that Kyle Busch could probably contend, but he had an incident. Then we saw guys who fell back in stage two worked their way back up, like Chase Elliott, who started on the pole and was the favorite to win. We saw Daniel Suarez work his way up. Chastain fell back. He had an incident with Austin Dillon, and Kimi Räikkönen hit the wall. If you haven't seen that, here's the video.
Michael McDowell, the 3-car around here. We got the 91 as well. The 91 car as well.
The 91's made contact with the wall, it looks like there, Junior. Oh, and the caution's out.
Kimi Räikkönen in the 91, and he has made contact with that inside wall. You see the flaps up on the hood.
You can see the damage to the tire barrier. There you see in the middle of the bus stop, just some contact when the left rear quarter panel of the 3-car sends him around from the one of, I believe, Ross Chastain. Don't really see how Kimi is involved, but obviously ran wide probably on the exit. So right there, I believe the 1 car gets into the left rear, sending the 3 around, and Kimi is on the inside of all this and just gets ran wide. He jumps a tire on the 27 car and sends him right into the tire barrier.
But that looked like an accident. It looked like someone hit him from the behind to hit Dillon, but then again, Chastain, another victim for him. But at the end there, I picked Kyle Larson to win the Cup race, and I was actually kind of surprised that he swept the weekend because I didn't think he was going to win the Xfinity race, but I knew he had a chance in the Cup, and he ended up holding off AJ, who finished second both races to Larson, which I find that kind of crazy that they finished 1-2 in both the Cup and the Xfinity race. But that's all I really got to say about that. I thought it was a great race. What about you?
Yeah, again, I did not watch it. From what I saw, Larson, he looked really good too. I think Chase Elliott, of course, he was a dominant car, most road course king or whatever. Logano looked really good from what I was hearing. And here are all the international drivers. Kimi Räikkönen, as you mentioned, Daniel Suarez, of course, you can't have NASCAR Cup Series without him. Loris Heismans, I'm not sure how you pronounce that name. Mike Rockenfeller, Danili Kvyat, I don't know his name either, and Kyle Tilley. Everybody else was from America, obviously. So it is really cool to see these like F1 IMSA drivers branch into NASCAR, and it's opening doors for more people. Like I saw Marcus Ericsson said he wanted to give it a try. Marco Andretti, I know he's not an international driver, but he is an IndyCar driver. I think he's trying to make a start in NASCAR. So that'd be very cool to see all these people. Another big topic that people were getting upset about, or I don't know about upset, but people were pointing out, was the restart with Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott, how Kyle Larson got in front of Elliott because I guess he locked his brakes up. If you haven't seen that, here it is.
And back up through the gears we go. Elliott on the outside, Larson on the inside. They're side by side still. And Larson surging ahead now as they get into one. He outbrakes him, but he slides up the track. As they both slide up the track, it opens the door for A.J. Allmendinger.
Kyle Larson used up Chase.
Personally, I don't have a problem with this at all. I think that people are, again, over dramatizing it.
Yep.
And it was just a racing move. It was an excellent move by Larson. He didn't even touch him. He didn't cut across him to try to spin himself out. He just did it at the perfect time and got right in front of Chase Elliott. Great move there by Larson. And if anybody is upset about it, they are a baby. So,
Mike, I was thinking that this may be the first weekend of the season we didn't see anybody complain.
yeah,
And here we go with Chase fans. Some of the Chase fans again on Twitter and saying, "Oh, he moved out, he moved." Like, shut up! Your driver clinched the regular season championship, right?
Right.
And it was an accident. Larson was on the inside lane, right? He locked the tire up. The tire, you can even see it in the video, locked up. He didn't. It's not like he sent him into the tire barriers.
Right.
He only lost like 1 or 2 spots. Like,
He ended up finishing 4th, which is still a
no.
good day.
I mean, it's the last race of the regular season. He's already locked the regular season championship title. There's no need to complain. And I was saying, like, I can't. I wanted to say something, but I'm not going to. But basically, it's ridiculous that people would get offended over that move. I get that there was a little bit of history with Auto Club, but then again, another instigator, I think, in this was Bob Pockrass. Now, Bob Pockrass is one of the most respected people in NASCAR media relations. I mean, Twitter, anything. I feel like he kind of like made a big deal out of it too, because then if you watched his video he did on it, he was mentioning their past histories, mentioning that Chase Elliott was upset and everything. And I find it hilarious, which we'll talk about in meme of the week. But I find it hilarious how Chase Elliott just forgot there was Daytona, and he's like, "Oh, we're just gonna go into Bristol next week, and we got to get the win." Like, it's just so
Bristol's not even for like another month.
Bristol's after Daytona. I think.
No, it's like it's like
It's after
2 or
like
3 races away.
yeah, Darlington's coming up too. Like, I mean, do you just completely forget about Daytona? But okay.
Exactly.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Chase Elliott. I mean, I'd like seeing him drive. I think he's a great driver. But then again, I feel like his fans just make me have less of a, I guess less. I wouldn't say less of respect for him, but like less wanting to pull for him, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Some Chase fans have just gone too far, as we've obviously seen this year. But that's all I really got to say about this. I'm looking forward to seeing what the fans have to say about this race, because I'm sure most of it was probably great. I assumed it was.
Yep, and here it is. 50% said great, 50% said good, and none of the other people said the other options. Henry 24257 says lots of chaos and Larson getting the dub, 8 out of 10. And then he said only shot that he had when I asked thoughts on Kyle Larson's move to win, only shot he had. Exactly. Driver of the day, nobody. I was just looking at the results here. I think I got to give it to Chase Elliott. I mean, he's the road course king. He looked really dominant. I was watching the highlights a little bit before I came on, and he just had the good car. So I'll give it to Chase Elliott. And AJ Allmendinger, too. He got spun out on lap 2 by Austin Cindric. If you haven't seen that, here it is. And then he came back to finish second.
Goes into turn number 1, being followed by that 5 of Kyle Larson. And around goes the 16, AJ Allmendinger, the first to spin as he tried to test the limits just a little too much.
I couldn't tell.
So I wish I remembered AJ was in the race. I rushed to do the lineup on Tuesday, and I completely forgot he was in the race. So shame on me.
Just a tip, I usually wait to do fantasy until the day of the race so I know where I'm starting. But I think that Tyler Reddick definitely makes a case because of him spitting out, him having his problems, he coming back all the way to 7th. He even led earlier on in the race. We see Michael McDowell. Front Row Motorsports was really strong. Todd Gilliland even led at one point during the race, but he ended up breaking an axle and falling out, which was unfortunate because I was hoping to see him get another top 5. And I feel like Michael McDowell is my driver today. I mean, he was strong the entire race. He was up there. He led laps. And if not him, then I would have to say like AJ Allmendinger or Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, and shout out to Dalton.Malak_9. I believe I got his username right. I didn't have it on the screen at the time. But yeah, shout out to him. He picked Kyle Larson for the winner for the Cup race. So good job, Dalton. You get your shout out.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about meme of the week. Correct. I found this one really good one, really good one by For the Championship. Here it is, right here. This it's true. It's true. Just felt like in like January and February, we were watching the testing. We were getting ready for the Daytona 500. Now all of a sudden, there's only 12 weeks left of the season. What the heck?
Yeah, that was good meme, but there was a couple other ones I put in the chat with um Chase Elliott forgetting which track they're at. One of them I thought was really hilarious, which you'll probably end up seeing on the screen, is Michael. It's an old commercial of Michael Waltrip at a track, and he's like talking. It's like basically representing Chase Elliott forgetting
Oh
that
yeah, yeah,
next week
yeah.
is Daytona.
Yeah,
He's like,
I'm
wait a
at the
minute,
wrong track.
It's at times like this, looking around at the empty grandstands and listening to the silence of pit road, that I realize I'm at the wrong track.
Yeah.
That was a good one. There was one by NY Alex Bowman, I think was the account name. That one was really funny too. It did probably one of the funniest ones I've seen. I know we mentioned him a lot on Meme of the Weeks, but TJ, the laugh lap. Um, him making he was making a, I don't know what it's called, but basically like a 3D printer of Chase Elliott's trophy because he lost. And he was thinking, basically he's trying to trick everyone into thinking that he was going to make the trophy of Watkins Glen, saying that he got the win, but instead it was just a poo stain and it said, congrats on your win.
Chase Elliott. So I 3D printed him a trophy. You tried.
That was so funny, man. Oh man, but I mean, those are some great memes. But one thing I'm gonna bring up real quick. We don't really, well, a couple things, but one thing we don't really talk about ARCA, but ARCA raced 3 straight races this weekend, and one of them was on a dirt track yesterday. I don't know if you saw the wreck, but Buddy Kofoid they were racing on a dirt. He couldn't see the slowing lap car, just absolutely nails that guy, and they went like flying.
Oh, we got big trouble on the front straightaway.
But
Yeah.
I thought that the ARCA race at Watkins Glen was really solid too. But the Winston Cup style points, we don't have an update on what the Winston Cup style points would be this weekend. But from going into the weekend in the Winston Cup style points, Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney would have been 1, 2. Chastain would have been 3. Truex Jr. would have been 4, and Kevin Harvick would have been 5th. And just some other notables: Joey Logano would have been 8th, Cindric 11th, Bubba Wallace 19th, Briscoe 18th, Denny Hamlin outside looking in at 17th, Kurt Busch 26th. Brad Keselowski finally made it out of the top 10. Isn't that a surprise? Or out of the top 30. Why did I say top 10? I'm so stupid. But Cody Ware 32nd, Ty Gibbs 40th, and Joey Hand was actually really impressive in the Cup race too on Sunday. He was in the top 5 at one point. But anyways, let's talk real quick about Daytona. Going into Daytona, we got, of course, the final playoff spots. They're trying to lock that in. Kurt Busch. If a different winner would have won at Watkins Glen Sunday,
Would have been out.
They would have had only like a win and get in situation for Truex Jr. and everyone else. Ryan Blaney, guys like that trying to get in. Eric Almirola, who they said was going to be returned to the 10, but then again, he didn't confirm that himself. And it's still up in the air for Eric Almirola return to the 10. So who do you think could get into the final playoff spot?
Well, I got 2 main picks. Well, actually, no, I got a couple of picks. First off, Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney is very, very strong on plate tracks. He's always up in the front. He works well with his Penske teammates, and they just have a formula on plate tracks. So he should be a contender for that. Next up, Michael McDowell. He's always a dark horse on plate tracks. Remember, Daytona 500, everybody always thinks of Michael McDowell. When you think of dark horses or like race picks, you got to think of Michael McDowell, even if he's not your main pick. And my main pick for the race, Brad Keselowski. He did so well in the Daytona 500 last year, right? He was up in the front. He almost won it, even if he caused he caused a couple crashes. but he was really, really strong in the Daytona 500. And you know what? I got to go with Brad Keselowski winning the race and locking himself in and being clutch here. But I wouldn't be surprised if somebody like Blaney got it done.
That's not a bad prediction. I am surprised you mentioned Brad Keselowski being clutch. But I do say that RFK Racing has been really strong on restrictor plate tracks this year, so I wouldn't be surprised if Brad Keselowski or Tris Busher could contend for the win. You mentioned Ryan Blaney. That's someone that I'm looking at that could get in. He's won at Daytona before, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets in. Truex Jr., I'm not someone that just doesn't says there's a 0% chance, but I personally think that Truex Jr. has like less than a 5% chance of going into the playoffs because he's wrecked a lot the last couple years at Daytona. And usually I would say that like Harvick's wrecked a lot in the July race at Daytona as well, but Harvick's already locked in. But Truex Jr., I just don't think he's going to get in. I could see Michael McDowell contending for the win because he's ran really well at Daytona and Talladega in the past. He's even won the 500 before. But I don't know if McDowell is going to get in, but I could see him maybe up in the top 5 in the final laps. And I'm not someone to wish or say that there's going to be a big wreck, but I feel like there's going to be a big wreck towards the end of the race at Daytona. I just feel like there's going to be something. Someone's going to try to do something to get a playoff spot, and it's going to be a big wreck. It's going to be
Right.
then again, I don't wish that to happen, but I just think that that's going to happen because with the new car and with the playoff system, as I've said before, people are more aggressive and more eager to get more points now because of the system. So they're going to do outrageous stuff. So I think that there's going to be a big wreck towards the end, but I guess we could get into the predictions now for the Xfinity Cup if you want to.
Yeah. So for the Xfinity race, I'm going to go ahead and say Justin Haley. He's making his Xfinity return for colleague. I believe he's driving the 14. I'm not 100% sure which car number, but I know he will be in the Xfinity race. So definitely my pick.
And you took the pick right out of my mouth. Justin Haley, he's won a Daytona before. Colleague Racing is going to be up front again. I could see, you know what? I think Sam Mayer. I want to say Justin Haley, but because you picked him, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to say Sam Mayer wins. Why not?
Okay. And then for the Cup race, a couple other drivers I'd like to mention that could have a decent chance. I'm not going to completely write off Truex like you were saying. I do think he has a low chance, but I'm not going to write him off because he has had good runs at Daytona. He finished second there in 2016 with Denny Hamlin. Bubba Wallace, that's another good one. He's very, very good at restrictor plates. Ricky Stenhouse, he was at the front toward the end of the 500. Justin Haley, like we just mentioned a few minutes ago, he's very strong on restrictor plates as well. Not so much with Cup, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did something. So I don't think either of those guys are going to get to the playoffs, but I'm going to watch out for them to do good this weekend. And for the Cup race, for my winner prediction, I already mentioned it, but in case you zoned out, Brad Keselowski, he's very strong. He was very good in the Daytona 500. And I could just see Brad Keselowski clutching up and winning because of how good he is on plate tracks. And he knows that he needs this to get in.
I mean, your takes are really good. I'll be honest. I think that those are great points. But I just don't see Brad winning. I just don't see it happening. I mean, he's had the worst luck this year. He's had a horrible year. I just don't see him getting in. Yes, he's done well with restrictor plates. He has a lot of wins at Talladega, for example, and he's won the Coke Zero 400 before. I just don't see it happening personally. But if he does, I'm sure there'll be a lot of happy fans, including Henry. But for the win, this is a tough one because Denny Hamlin has won a Daytona a lot in the last 5 years. I'm looking at him. I'm looking at William Byron, even though he's been caught up in wrecks the last couple of years at Daytona, he's always had a chance. Man, this is so hard. This is so hard to pick a winner. I will say though, real quick, I'm not trying to clown on anybody, but for some people picking at Watkins Glen, I was looking at some of the best odds to win, and for some reason, Bubba Wallace and Brad Keselowski were on there, and I'm like, why? Because I knew they weren't going to do that well. They were like 30th the whole race. But anyways, no offense to anybody, but
I mean, I get Brad. I don't know about Bubba, but I can understand Brad.
okay, so the Cup race, this is going to be a tough one because I want to say that it won't be like a first time winner, because if that happens, I'm going to see a lot of complaining on Twitter. I'm going to see a lot of people complaining about, oh, they got in with a Mickey win because they won the last race of the race, stuff like that. Man, I'm going to do a risky pick though. I'm going to do a little bit of a risky pick here. Someone that has won this year and basically has sort of struggled, but they've won this year. Kyle Busch.
Ooh, Kyle Busch at Daytona. Ooh.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. We both have some risky picks here.
Kyle Busch, I knew he was probably going to do decent Watkins Glen because he's done well there before, but like with Daytona, he's been in contention to win there, especially in the night race at Daytona.
Yeah.
In the July races, I think that he's always a favorite in the nighttime. In July and August, I could see him winning, and I think he will, but I just think that he will somehow squeak through in the final laps to get a win. I just see that happening with help from Denny Hamlin.
We'll see about that, but I do agree with your point earlier that you made that there will be a big wreck, kind of like in I believe it was 2020. I'm not sure, 2019, 2020, when William Byron got his first win and he wrecked Joey Logano when he went 4 wide in the corner. And I'm still salty about that to this day. And it was the biggest temper tantrum I have ever thrown on NASCAR. And I wish I had video of it because I would be a massive meme. Let's just say that.
I would have loved to see that, to be fair. But one thing too, before we close out the episode, if y'all haven't yet, go check out our recent videos, especially the NASCAR sponsored tier list video. Go check that out. Make sure to spread this video out and give it some love. Comment down below. We'd like to hear y'all's feedback.
Yeah, definitely. But I think that's going to close out this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure you guys follow our socials, follow the Onboards account, join the NASCAR Fantasy League, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Yeah.
You want me calling now, you wanting what I think. All these women lie.